Welcome. Tonight, my name's Tania from Snaffle Travel. We're going to go virtually to the Jerez Horse Feria. I was really fortunate last year I visited, and it was just a majestic spectacular of horses, colour, beautiful ladies dressed in amazing flamenco dresses. It was spectacular. So I'll just share my screen now and we'll go through some slides. So Spain's world famous sherry producing town, Jerez de la Frontera, hosts the Jerez Horse Fair known as the Feria del Cablo. It's a traditionally held the first or second week in May, and it's an exciting and really lively event. The fairground is known as a recinto, and it was opened in 1903. There's almost 200 casitas. They're like stalls or little restaurants, bars, where you can go in and have something to eat and drink, and they make up the fairground and line the street. The annual fair began as a livestock show in 1284 and is now a magnet for horse lovers. Now, how to get there? You can stay in Jerez, but I mean, I recommend if you're staying in Seville, you can if you get the 9 o'clock train, it only takes an hour. You'll be there at 10 o'clock. You can go to the Andalusian, the Equestrian show, the Spanish horse show. So you get a taxi from the train station, and the train fares are only about $10. And go to the horse show. The horse show is about 28 euros. And that starts about midday, but before that you can visit the museum and have a wander around. And then afterwards, you just get a taxi to the fairground. Now the fair doesn't really start till about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It opens at 1, but a lot of the riders don't turn up till about 2 or 3. So, and then you can stay till late. So, as I mentioned before, it's held annually every May, the first or second weekend, and it's at the González Hontoria fairgrounds. It's fairly central in Jerez, and it's free to get into the main fair area. They do have events which you do have to pay for, but I'll mention that later. It's open from 1 p.m. till late, and the horses parade from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 7 o'clock at night. After 7, they go home. And there's all kinds of horse activities, and people eat and drink to the early hours, and it's just a wonderful party atmosphere. And there's ladies here, parading, and they're going up and down the street on the back of beautiful carriages. You can also pay to have a carriage ride to go up and down the street. And we were fortunate when we were there. It was Ladies' Day, and there's just beautiful ladies dressed up, and they were dancing and beautiful gypsy dresses. And when we're there, I had a couple of friends that were actually riding in the parade, and they were actually on a riding holiday, and the riding holiday outfitter brought them to the fair. And so it was wonderful, and we watched them going up and down the streets. It's my two friends in the parade. Just before, they bought hats locally and some of the riding gear, and then they bought a few things from home. But you've got to dress up if you're riding in the fair, and anyone can come to the fair and ride, but obviously you've got to wear the traditional riding gear. There's just some locals, they just ride up and down the streets. There's beautiful carriage horses. I think these ones are actually from the actual Andalusian School of Equestrian Art. They actually have a carriage centre there. Beautiful colours. And at night, all the lights are all lit up. Very spectacular. There's some horses, they were coming in. And also they have the in-hand showing. They have show jumping, international show jumping. They have dressage, vaulting. They have traditional working discipline. And the Spanish riding school actually come and do demonstrations. So this is where you might have to pay a little bit extra. There's something on every day. When we were there, we just saw the in-hand showing. We just missed the dressage. But there's a schedule that they usually hand out when you first arrive. There's children's attractions. There's actually a fairground with a Ferris wheel, and there's dance competitions and other festival activities. It's just an amazing event. The locals, they turn up in their finery, and they tend to visit the Feria slightly later in the day when it's a bit cooler, and whereas us tourists and visitors sort of come a bit earlier. And there's loads of families. It's a real family event. The children just look gorgeous. They're all dressed up in their beautiful dresses and outfits. It's really, really amazing. And a lot of the ladies with side saddle, and they have like a big pad on the horse's rump, and they sit side saddle. This is a beautiful grey horse, really pretty and lovely lady sitting side saddle. So the people come to eat and drink and dance, and they stay till the early hours of the morning. There is actually a Seville there, but you can't actually, all the casitas are all booked out, whereas here in Jerez, like when we were there, we'd just wander into one and have a few tapas, grab a drink, something to eat, and then we might go to another one a bit later. So some of them are booked out by families and things like that, but there's plenty, so you don't have a problem finding somewhere to eat. So this is where some traditional casitas. So the park at the end of the night, it just transforms into a big flamenco hall. It's unlike anywhere else. And the refreshing drink that a lot of the locals are drinking is called Robuco, and it's sold by the glass or the jug. It's a simple cocktail of manzana sherry. It's like a dry white variety, and then it's put with 7-Up or lemonade and served over ice and garnished with mint. But also sangria is available, and all your other wines and everything there. And it's each year the Feria has a different theme. So during the time of the fair, the Andalusian School of Equestrian Art also has shows every day. So the gates open at 10 o'clock and the show doesn't start till midday. But when you're there, they usually have some of the cadets, their training. But they've got the beautiful palace that you can wander around, and there's also a museum under the palace, and there's where they make all the horse gear. So the school's devoted to conserving the abilities of the Andalusian horse, maintaining their classical traditions of the Spanish Baroque horsemanship. So they have cadets come in and they stay for 4 years. It's like an apprenticeship. A lot of the riders that are in the show, they've been there for years and years, and until they leave, there's not a place available. So most of the cadets come in and do a 4-year apprenticeship, and they learn about preparing the horses and the riders for international dressage competition. There's coach driving, there's blacksmithing, and the care and breeding of horses, and there's a saddlery there as well where they learn to make saddles. and take care of the horse harness. It's an amazing place, but they have shows that go for about an hour and is quite spectacular. And there's 4 places, big Spanish riding schools or shows is obviously the Vienna Spanish Riding School. There's a Carta Nor in France, and then there's a Portuguese School of Equestrian Art, and then you've got the one in Jerez. So this is inside the arena. It's quite a big arena compared to the one in Vienna. They actually can get carriages in here, so the carriages come in and do turns and things like that. I've been fortunate. I've been about 4 times now, and every time the show's a little bit different. And I've always been lucky to have a front row seat. There's not big pillars like the one in Vienna, so you can get a really good view. And this was a rider warming up. You quite often see the cadets and that having a training session, or they might have someone there having a lesson. And the beautiful palace here, this is in the grounds, so you can actually wander through and have a look, and on the back end is a riding arena. It's just spectacular. It's a 19th century palace and given to them by the King of Spain. So I'd like to thank you for watching tonight. And this is the final series until probably mid to end of January. I'll be back. So if you've got any questions about anything tonight, or you wanted to know about where to get any of the riding wear or any information, just send me an email at info@snappletravel.com.au. Thank you. Have a wonderful Christmas and look forward to seeing you in the new year. Bye-bye.